Beautiful. All right. Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us here today, and welcome to our monthly event for the Coaching Support Group in Montreal. My name is Reem, and I'm super excited to have you all joining here with us tonight. You are going to have such a life-changing experience, I can promise you that, because not only are you going to experience one of our top-notch speakers who's going to blow our mind with the topic for today, but you're also going to get the chance to participate in our mastermind that's going to happen later on. So to get things started, I'm going to quickly share my screen with you just so that I can introduce you, if it's your first time that you're joining here, about our group, about this community, so you can get to know us a bit more. And then you'll stop hearing my voice and you'll start hearing the speaker of the night. So this is us, this is our team. We're a team of 6, and you'll get to meet everyone as well during the evening. Briefly for you to know, we are a support group and a network for individuals and companies, whoever is interested in coaching and personal development. And we fall under the division of Noble Manhattan Coaching, located in the UK. And Noble Manhattan offers large number of coaching training for whoever is interested to become a coach. It was established in 1993. It's one of the largest and most successful coaching training organizations in the world. They operate in more than 31 countries, and they are accredited by some of the top-notch accreditation bodies, such as ICF, ILM, APMC, all of these names all over. So you're in good hands here tonight, everybody. I would like to share with you that recently we've launched the distribution here in Canada. So we are offering limited time offers for anyone who's interested to become a coach for the first 17 students. So you can reach out to me or to my partner, Larisse, and let us know if you're ever interested to become a coach, get in the training. We would love to have you also on board with us. To tell you a bit more about this support group, our vision is to create a community where you can be inspired, empowered, and educated. Anyone, anywhere, through the power of coaching. And that's mainly our vision for being here today. We usually serve monthly events, which is why you are all here tonight, with international speakers, even one-on-one coaching sessions or masterminds. This is what you're going to witness tonight. If you're interested yourself to become a coach, as I mentioned before, there are trainings that are suitable for anyone with any background and any level. The monthly events happen every third Thursday of every month at the same time, 6:30 p.m. Every single time we have new speakers coming up, so make sure to register from now for the upcoming events too. We would love to see you there. Other than that, we would love to see you also on our socials. So please make sure to join our community in our Facebook group. Every day we share some insightful information about coaching, things that will help you think to change your life. So go ahead and check us out on our Facebook page. Now, enough hearing my voice. I know, yawn. And we're going to move over to listen to our exceptional speaker for the night. I'm going to share with you in the chat box. So go ahead, oops, that's the chat box here, and check out our agenda for the evening. In our agenda, you will notice that you can even hover over the names of the team that you're going to meet tonight and our speaker, and everything is available on the links in the agenda. So all you have to do is just press on the links you're going to find there. First section, we're going to listen to our speaker, engage with him, learn from him. And then the second section will be our mastermind, where all of us are going to think together to discover a solution for a problem that we're all going to face. I also have a quick announcement for you all. If you are located in Montreal, we're having our very first outing. Yes, we're going to see each other face to face, finally. If you're not in Montreal, you can see us over Zoom. We can broadcast it to you. We invite you all to meet us next Friday in Parc La Fontaine, where we're going to meet at 3 p.m. Just bring yourself, bring your snacks, bring whoever you want with you, and come with us and bring your energy, because we would love to meet each other. And we're going to be celebrating Summer all of us together. You can find this information also on our Facebook page. Finally, I just want to share with you all that this is our home. And in our home, we have some rules that we all abide by because we have that respect for the place that we're in. First thing, and most importantly, as you have noticed, this meeting is going to be recorded. However, for privacy, the mastermind will not be recorded. So you can open up and share whatever is on your mind. Second, I want you to know our 3 values: integrity, leadership, and non-judgmental. And we live by them each and every meeting. If you feel like you want to share whenever, at any time, please drop it in the chat box. We would love to hear from you. And finally, if you're comfortable, I would love to see your faces. Now, every single time I say this, because it's true, but you can see me from the top, but on the bottom, I'm just wearing my PJs. So you can feel comfortable to just open up your cameras wherever you are, whatever you're doing. It's you who we want to see. Most importantly, I invite you all to have fun, because this is going to be an experience where you will engage, you will enjoy, and hopefully you'll take something with you on the go. So this wraps up for my quick introduction. Thank you everyone for listening to us and welcome to this community. I will give it forward to our Vice President, Dr. Maria, where she will introduce herself and we'll take it from there. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Can you just tell me that you can hear me well? Yes, perfect. Thank you. Yes, welcome everyone. It's a pleasure that you guys are here today. We're very excited for the topic, Norm. Very excited. So yes, I take the role of Vice President, but outside of this group, I'm a preventive medicine and lifestyle medicine practitioner coach, which is pretty much the goal of helping people create a lifestyle that allows them to live really long without the absence of disease. And that's what I do. So I'm gonna actually, Tasha is not here. She's our marketing person in this group. So I'm going to pass the word into Larisse. And thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Maria. So I'm Larisse. I'm the training and education manager. So I can answer any questions you have related to this group and how it functions, as well as I'm also a professional coach. And I'm working on my mentor, professional mentor title as a plant-based mentor. So I'm starting with that. And I'm looking for people that want to transition from regular diets to plant-based. So if you are interested in that, I'm offering free sessions right now as I'm beginning. And I'm also regional distributor for Novel Manhattan, as Rim has mentioned. I don't know if we have the link for the coaching reports, because we have a very interesting coaching reports that we can share with you. And that's a link. So we will share that probably at the end of the meeting, where you can have access to that, know more about coaching, and let us know if you're interested. We can answer any questions as well in relation to becoming a coach or having a coaching career. So I hope you enjoyed the event. I'm looking forward to hearing Norm today, and I pass it on to Abir.
Good evening, good afternoon, whatever your time. I'm grateful to be here with you and joining you in this event. For this group, I'm working as a project manager. I'm the person who tried to put the timeline, internal and external communication. It's hard sometimes, but it's here to learn. At the same time, I just started my coaching journey by taking the BCC. So I'm so excited not to only be in the administrative work, but also like to know more about coaching because I like to learning and put things together from end to end in order to have end result. We like it with minimum stress. It's time to meet the person now, like the person who put this meeting together, who communicate with our speaker tonight. Please help me welcome Nayo.
Thank you, Beer. Always way too kind in the description. Just want to say it's a big team effort, and I just learned so much from each and every one of you every time. So thank you, and yeah, thank you for introducing me. So as I mentioned, I'm the events manager And it's an honor to be here with all of you. Again, feel free to smile, be happy, move a little bit. It's going to be an interactive session. I know it's late, but we need you here with us. And yeah, so as I said, I'm the events manager. I'm also a career advisor at the McGill School of Continuing Studies, and I'm passionate about professional development. I know there's so much values from coming to webinars and support sessions as today. And we're going to be talking about a very special skill, which is also part of our mission and is the specialty of our speaker today. Super, super important. I think everyone needs leadership. And no matter how much you know about it, you're definitely going to be learning something about it because there's a special twist to it, as you could have seen in the title. So yeah, so there's going to be a Q&A at the end of Norm's presentation. But again, if you have a burning question you want to ask right away, it's relevant, feel free to ask either by raising your hand, writing in the chat, or sending to one of the team privately. Yeah, and that's it. And after that, we're going to have our mastermind session and everything. So let's just start by presenting your speakers. So Norm Tam is a seasoned executive turned leadership coach that helps his clients improve their companies by building better management and leadership habits. As founder of Ikigai Coaching Inc. and a certified professional coach, his mission is to guide people to their breakthrough moments for them to succeed both personally and professionally. So again, I know you all know how to do this, but let's please warmly welcome Norm.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for that welcome. I'd just like to start off. Obviously, I want to thank the entire team, Reem and Niall, who I've had a chance to work directly with to get to this point. Thank you guys so much. And for the rest of the team, which I happen to just meet today, again, thank you so much for bringing me into the home, like Reem said before. We are going to have fun. Niall said something about moving around before. You are probably going to see me moving around a bit. I'm going to share a little secret that my back blew out about a week ago. And yesterday is probably the only day that I actually started to get up and like really move around again. So if you see me moving around, it's not because I can't stay still, it's because I have to. Okay, okay, just to let everyone know. But besides that, we're here to have fun. I really like that last rule there, Reem, on the house rules. We're going to have fun tonight. We're going to talk about a subject that I love. I personally am extremely passionate about. It gets to really bridge two worlds, really, that kind of business, professional, leadership, results, performance world, which I know many of us are very attached to and play a big role of our lives. But on the other hand, I think it gets to dabble around and really kind of playfully get into the other world of a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more purpose driven, and a little bit more, you know, what's that inner voice that, you know, follows us all around, trying to say to us. And if we can kind of, you know, maybe bridge the two tonight, if anyone can actually have any you know, resemblance of an aha moment where those two are mixed together a little bit, then my job is done. And I would have had a fantastic time here to enable that, all right? I'm gonna get right into my content today. 45 minutes is gonna go quick. So I welcome everyone, by the way, to ask questions as you're seeing stuff. Feel free just to dive in. And in all honesty, if time starts to get a little sensitive, I have no problems just, you know, holding the fort and saying, okay, from now on, no more questions until we get to the end, because I think there's a lot of value for the content that everyone's going to be getting, all right? So let's start by diving in here. Everyone can see that? Perfect.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome, great. Okay, everyone, so just to give a quick little introduction of who I am, what I represent, who's before you today. As Niall had mentioned before, founder of Ikigai Coaching, which is a pretty young organization. We're in our first year. The mission is very, very straightforward. It's a coaching organization to help people authentically, while respecting values and traditions, eliminate any limiting mental barriers and beliefs so that they can actually see who they are and what they're destined to accomplish. And like I said before, that has nothing to do with personal or professional. It's all mixed, in my opinion. Every single engagement I get on, what I love about what I do is it's living in the gray. You know, I use this statement quite a bit when working with my clients that, you know, robots have not taken over just yet. People run organizations, people lead other people, and until that changes, we actually have to address both personal and professional sides in any type of engagement if we want to be successful. Okay. Who am I specifically? So that was the company I founded. I'm a firm believer in honesty, guys. I'm going to ask you guys to be honest today and to participate. And to do so, I believe out of respect, I have to be fully authentic and straightforward in terms of, you know, presenting who's standing in front of you today. I am a 44-year-old, just revealed my age, just dated myself maybe. A father of two amazing kids that you see on screen, Addison and Mila. Twice divorced. All right, that's a tough one to get over the first time you mentioned that, but I've been doing this for a while now, so I'm very comfortable with that, and not necessarily looking at it through as a failure anymore. Through that, have been able to completely forgive and heal myself, and now in a loving and healthy, beautiful relationship with Tanya that you see on screen as well. That's my core, guys. That's what I wake up for. That's what I try and better every single day of my life. I am not perfect. I have many struggles, just like probably everyone in this room, but it helps to be able to have a core to go back to. I'm a certified professional coach since November 2020. I like to think of it that I've been coaching for 15 years in the business environment, and I just decided to do it on my own last year. And that comes with about 20 years of corporate leadership management experience. My specialty was IT. That's what I studied in. But along the way, many years spent on corporate strategy, project management, systems, and HR as well. So really had the wonderful opportunity of seeing all aspects of an organization working together smoothly. So today, what are we going to be looking at today? We're gonna this word Ikigai. You know, I'm sure many of you, this is a coaching community, so this is not new to many here. We'll go over a little bit of the, you know, what Ikigai is, a little bit of the background. Why is it important? The tool itself, more I call the westernized tool of Ikigai. Ikigai for Leadership, the name of our session today. And if time permitting, we can do a live demo. I'm just going to randomly pluck someone out of the group, and we will record that. But like again, I said it's time permitting. All right. We're going to start off with a nice little icebreaker, but also really get to know who's out in the audience, so that I can tailor my content a little bit today, if need be. I invite everyone to head over to slido.com and input CSG Ikigai as the event code. I'm just going to hop over there myself right now while you guys do that. You can also just scan that barcode if you'd like to. All right, so is everyone seeing the join@slido.com page?
I can't see the poll. It says there are no active polls at the moment. That's
okay, great. Yeah, that's perfect. That's because I haven't activated them yet, so that makes sense. Give me 1 second. All right. So that first question should be activated now. Yeah. And which of the following applies to you? Just again, it's really for me to get a good feel of who's out in the audience here today. Give you guys a few minutes to get through that one. They are multiple choice, by the way, this first one. So if a couple of them apply, feel free to check off. See, there's 10 responses, a little bit more people logged in, so I'll give it a couple more seconds. Okay, great. So the primary, okay, no, I was speaking too soon there. A perfect mix of people who are interested in taking that path and becoming a coach and that are already leading and managing within their own organization. Awesome. Like exactly the combination I wanted for today, because this presentation is actually very much geared towards that combination. Okay, so very happy about that. Let's just get into the next question here. Which of the following are you most interested in today? Learning about Ikigai as a topic, learning a new approach to leading a team of people, or learning a new approach to coach other leaders? And this one is only, you got to pick one. It's really the one that you're most gravitating towards this evening. Okay. Perfect. So awesome. I'll make sure I don't rush through the Ikigai content. That's a great indicator for me. Thank you, everyone. And lastly, in one word, if you know, what is it that you're looking to get out of today's session? I know it's sometimes tough to just keep it to one word, but that makes the exercise fun. Have to think about it. Obviously, I'd like to know, so just make sure that I can deliver on whatever is being asked here. I'll try my best. Awesome. Okay. Growth has taken over. Look at that. Growth has grown as the main word here. Perfect. Okay. So that being said, if growth is really what everyone is, you know, it happens to be the major topic. Obviously, there's a lot of great stuff there, you know, inspiration, confidence. I definitely will try and make more time for questions, because questions are definitely going to be the avenue towards growth. It's not going to just hear me blah, blah, blahing away. So I'll tailor things a little bit too to make sure we have time for some questions as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for that. I'm going to stop that and get back into the presentation here. Sorry about that, guys. I would like to blame it on my back for the delay here, but that's not going to work. This has nothing to do with my back. This is all great. Okay, we're back. Good. What is Ikigai? This was the top you know, question that wanted to be answered here, is learning more about Ikigai. So I will not rush through this content tonight. Ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese term, and it actually means reason for being. There's a little bit of history behind the word, which I found very interesting. It's actually composed of two Japanese words, Iki and Gai. By the way, I am not Japanese. I'm actually from Chinese origin. So if I'm butchering those words, don't blame me if anyone happens to be Japanese out there. Those two words actually meant life and shell. And in that period, in the Han period, shells were actually considered extremely valuable in Japanese history. And that word being you know, put together actually meant a word that means value in living, or actually reason for being. So really, I'm sure, like I said, I'm with a group of very coach aware individuals here. Ikigai can really be synonymous to purpose. The feeling like there is something to wake up to, and feeling like that little inner voice that's within all of us that guides us is leading us down the right path in terms of where we should be in our lives and what we should actually be applying our energy towards. Why is it so special to me? I actually started my business from Ikigai. I actually really got into it, read a lot about it, performed the exercise, the Ikigai exercises, went through the weeks and weeks of self discovery that come from it. And at the moment that I actually realized that, this is it, this is what I want to do, I decided, well, I need a name for my company. And it just hit me like a sack of bricks against the head of, well, what else am I going to call my company but Ikigai Coaching, which was how it came about. So just a little personal backdrop as to why it is important to me, if you're also wondering why the company name is such. So let's look at, an interesting fact here about, Ikigai and geography and the world. And, the locations that we see up on screen there: Loma Linda, California, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, Ikaria, Greece, and Okinawa, Japan. Now, besides being a place that we would all like to take a vacation to next week, obviously, can anyone tell me what these locations have in common?
They're
Feel
all
free
the
to
blue
just-
zones of the planet.
Oh, that's not fair.
They all have access to the ocean, to water.
They do. Those answers are actually both 100% correct. But the doctor in the room, who's all about well-being, obviously beat everyone to the punch. Yes, they are in fact all blue zones. So if you guys don't know what blue zones are, they're areas of the world that are statistically documented of having the highest life expectancy per capita. So this is not by chance. These are hard facts. This is the science behind it, that people in these regions actually tend to live longer than other areas of the world. And very interesting study. If you just Google blue zones and statistics online, you'll actually see that there is a list of commonalities in these regions of the world that have been documented as part of these studies. And Ikigai is actually one of them. The sense of purpose, people waking up feeling like they have a sense of purpose day in and day out. This is actually a documented commonality in all of these areas, and is completely associated with reduced risk of death, higher psychological well-being. So, not only are we talking about a concept that is extremely inspirational and motivational in terms of capability, but one that is scientifically proven to have people living longer and more healthy lives. Okay, so I actually really found that super interesting, because anything that borders on that line of science and what the coaching space likes to refer to as woo-woo, anything that actually has science to back it up, I love that stuff, because it actually justifies the feeling that we actually have inside of us already. I'm not going to go into an Ikigai primer this evening. This is not the purpose of this discussion. There's a wonderful slew of information online. If you Googled Ikigai, you're going to get the phone book these days. It's a very hot topic. I do recommend the book that you see on screen, though, if anyone wants to get a more in-depth take on Ikigai, and a much more elaborate discussion on it. Definitely check that out.
Thank you.
So,
and just to know, I know I had a question here in the chat. Just let me know if you want me to go ahead.
Absolutely, yeah.
So people wanted to know, you mentioned some exercises before. I guess that's what you were jumping in right now, that you had to do.
Yeah.
that really got you into it. So thank you.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I guess most of them will be answered in this session. Thank you, Norm.
Great, no problem, man. Yeah, so tangibly speaking, so what you will probably see if you did Google Ikigai is the image that you're going to see on screen right now. That's the majority of the information that you find online. This is actually not, technically speaking, the Ikigai. Okay, this is more of a Western representation of Ikigai. Ikigai, like I said before, is in its purest form is a sense of purpose. That's as simple as it is. What we look at here is a Western interpretation, which is a very, very handy tool of how to go about perhaps getting closer to that sense of purpose. And I say Western because that bottom circle of what you can be paid for is very Western. It's very American and European. And obviously now with developing countries getting more capitalistic, it's growing there. But I do want to make the distinction that in its purest form, Ikigai is simply a sense of purpose, which does not have to have anything to do with economics involved, right? Now, the reality is in the Western world, it's great to say, I want to, become a rock star. And I really feel that's my purpose. But if I'm not going to get paid for it, well, that sense of purpose is going to dwindle pretty quick. So there's that reality portion, okay? So, but to break down, the areas here, we are talking about, Ikigai sitting at the middle, the centricity of 4 elements, core elements that we see on screen, okay? The first one, which is the very intuitive one, what you love. So what you love to do in life. When I work with clients and I just kind of start going through this Ikigai process, this one is usually the easiest because it's so intuitive, it's emotional. What do you love to do? And then they might stumble on kind of working through, well, what should I do and what I've been told to do. And I say, no, let's stop all that. What do you love to do? If you can just drop everything and just start doing something tomorrow, what would it be that you love to do? And then some answers start to come out. Great. And at this point, again, the exercise itself, it should be non-limiting. It's gut feel, like whatever just jumps out, like lay it out there. What do you love to do? What are you good at? And when we say, what are you good at, which is the circle on the left, we are not talking about, something that you're so at, or that, you and 100 of your best friends are good at. We're really talking about trying to find something that, people usually around your circle of friends, family are saying, you're really good at that. Or they come to see you when it comes time to, for instance, if it's, to do taxes, or if it's anything to do with budgeting, or if it's something to do with fashion, or it's something to do with cooking, and people gravitate towards you and say, you really do that well. I always want to seek out your opinion on it. That starts to border into some very good aspects of what you're good at. Okay, what the world needs. This one, so those first 2 circles that I covered are really more the internal. We're looking at inside. It's answers that you should have through yourself. What the world needs is really more external now. So it might be great to say, I love, I don't know, I'm going to make something up, getting on a tricycle and, dressed up as a stuffed animal, going down busy streets all day long. Great, maybe that's what I love to do. Does the world need it? You know what, actually in this day and age, probably a lot more. But, the question has to be asked, does the world actually need it? Because that's really going to start leading down into that last circle. Like I said, the important sustainable aspect in, the Western areas. What can you be paid for? What can you be remunerated for so that you can actually continue doing this, right? Because without that, there's a question of sustainability that will not be answered, okay? You can see on screen, what's very interesting as well is, where the circles overlap, and more interestingly, where there's gaps sometime. And what I'll take is probably one that many people can relate to, perhaps, in the corporate world or been in a job for a very long time, is, a zone down here that excludes what you love, but maybe you are good at it. Maybe the world does need that service, and maybe, you are getting paid very well for it, but it isn't what you love. Well, that leaves a comfortable, but feeling of emptiness sensation. Right. So not only are the elements very interesting, the gaps themselves are actually very interesting too. And by performing the exercise, you can probably put a finger on maybe why you're feeling a certain way, if you happen to not be contained in one of these elements that you see on screen. What's really, really, really awesome about this tool, okay, and I come back over and over and over to this tool for any type of coaching that I do, is how simple it is, because you just literally have to draw 4 circles and start walking through someone down this exercise. But not only is it simple, it's unique. It's literally like a blueprint. It's like DNA for the individual, because you can sit 5 people in a room, 10 people in a room, you're not going to get the same answers. That's what happens with, it's the mathematics behind the situation. When you have 4 different variables at play, you're going to get all kinds of possibilities and combinations. So it's actually, like I said, very, very unique. Forget about just win-win situation. This is a win-win-win-win. If you're able to zone in and find something that really starts to circle around your Ikigai. I love the analogy. You guys have all heard about having your cake and eating it too. Well, this is like having your cake and eating it too while winning the lottery and getting on Instagram for being the best cake maker out there. It's all of that together. So it's not just a combination of 2 things that are great. You're actually combining in 4 elements of sustainability here, if you're able to lock in. Like I said before, there's a nice balance between internal and external, which actually makes the entire Ikigai very balanced, right? Because it's not just this is a me thing or what I want to do. It has to be balanced out with the external world. And quite honestly, I said, there's a lot of people working towards becoming a coach. This is a great career coaching tool. I'm not a 100% bona fide career coach. I usually refer that out, but I can tell you this is fantastic for career coaching, because you really start to play around in core elements of passion with people, and you start to pair that up with actual competencies, true possibilities out in the workforce, and pairing up that with salary and compensation as well. So very, very, very interesting tool for career coaching. That was a lot. That was a mouthful from my side. I just wanted to make sure I covered this content here. I know there's a lot of people that are here for specifically to learn more about the Ikigai. Are there any questions at this point that I can help clarify?
Yeah, so here in the chat, so I hear everyone say it's so hard to hit that sweet spot. How do they get there? So when you were talking about perfect balance and harmony.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about this exercise, okay? Coming up with stuff is actually not that hard, maybe. And by coming up with stuff, I mean like really being honest, because if there's one key thing that you have to be while performing this exercise is honest to yourself. This is not the time to say, well, deep down inside, I want to do this, but my family says this is what I really should be doing. So you know what? I'm going to put that down as what I love to do because, my family says I should. If you do that, forget it. This is not the point of the exercise. You'll end up just probably going down a path of dissatisfaction because you're going to be bringing on someone else's Ikigai into the picture that, subconsciously you don't believe, and it's just not going to work. Okay? So if the honesty is there, if the true honesty is there, and let's face it, this is another important thing to realize. It's meant to be a playful exercise. I have a lot of people that that I work with that get very anxious when it comes time to defining these things, and they get very nervous. So, you know, I've been thinking about this Ikigai overnight, and you know, it's been stressing me out. That's not going to work either. Okay, you actually just have to get relaxed with it and enjoy the discovery process. Maybe there's things that you've been thinking about for a while, but never really took the time to have that quiet moment. Nature helps. Going into a, you know, your backyard with no music, like these are nature's natural tools to have you tap into a little bit more of the inner voice. Getting that conversation going, like I said, is the first step. I will say it's probably not the toughest part. The tough part comes afterwards if something is produced that actually does speak to you, but is actually a 180 of where you are in life right now. That's when people say, excuse the language, holy crap, what am I going to do? And that's where a lot of the sentiments of, no, I can't. Or, you know, this was a crazy exercise. Woo! You know, we're going to put it that away because that's a little like, that's too much. That's too scary. Like, you know, I didn't work 20 years to get where I am, so I can just like go along with the Ikigai crazy thing that everyone's talking about and, you know, venture off somewhere else. That's the tough part. That's the tough part. And if anyone has ever contemplated a career change or has really, you know, taken a big jump, I'm sure you can all relate to it. And that moment is like, am I actually going to be doing this? Right? That's that tough part.
I think you might give us.
But what I will say, all it takes is little steps. You know, and everything that we covered about the Ikigai, there was no timeline. There was no like you have to find your Ikigai and implement it within a week, or else you will be known as a failure in life for the rest of your days. No, there's none of that. You can define the timeline yourself. You can say, hey, I'd like to transition towards this over the next 5 years. I'd like to do it over the next 10 years. I'd like to do it in a month. It's all up to you. And usually time has this wonderful way of alleviating anxiety as well, by the way, because, you know, anxiety being the future mind, when you compress that, the future mind goes haywire. It says, what? You want me to figure all this stuff out within the next, you know, 10 minutes? But if I say, well, why don't you figure that out within the next month? Whew, the future mind relaxes a little bit, and all the anxiety just kind of like alleviates a little bit. So I don't know if that answered the question in terms of the challenge behind it. I think maybe I've just put a spotlight on where the challenges are and where they're a little heavier sometimes. Were there any other questions?
Yeah, there was another question, and just wanted to say, yeah, it makes total sense. Thank you for making it sound also feasible. We have a comment here before we jump to Itar's question. So Bea, it's been 35-year process and still morphing. I think.
Awesome. Awesome. You know what, guys? It took me 43 years. It took me 43 years to get to a point of deciding, well, you know what? I don't want to waste another day not going towards what my Ikigai is. So, you know, it's like I said, there's nothing dramatic about this. It's really at your pace. You define the schedule. You define how you're going to go about it. The important thing, though, is being honest about it. And hopefully, if it's something that really speaks to you, allow it to speak louder. Don't shut it up. Allow it to take some space and percolate as hopes and dreams and things that make you feel good in your day-to-day life. Okay, I'm self-checking myself here on time.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just gonna let Itar, if you want to ask your question.
Sure. Thank you, Nayo. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Norm, for your beautiful speech and for presenting the Ikigai.
Very welcome.
So my question is the following: is the Ikigai kind of a yoga training or meditation thing? Because when I heard you explaining it, I've found something similar in my life. I don't do coaching, I do nothing, but I found something similar, but I didn't know that it's Ikigai.
Well, again, Ikigai at its purest form as being a reason for being or sense of purpose. I mean, it's beautiful. It could be found in many ways. And that's why I said before, the tool we're looking at here is really just a tool. If, you know, it strikes you in a moment and in a heartbeat, and you know that, my God, I cannot waste another minute of my life because of an event that happened. And now I know, hey, fantastic. You don't need to walk through the tool. You don't need to go through the exercise and go through it a little bit more deliberately, you know. So absolutely. I mean, you know, to say, is it yoga? Is it meditation? I would honestly say that those are more perhaps tools and channels to be able to open the voice up a little bit. You know, yoga and meditation and mindfulness have an amazing ability to tap you into that inner voice a little bit more, so that you can listen a little bit closer when the voice speaks, as opposed to letting the hustle and bustle of day by day kind of overpower the voice and just dismissing it. But whatever works, really. And I think that's a beautiful question, because this is not a, it has to be one way and you must follow ABC or else you won't get there. Everyone's going to have their path, you know. And it's you know, what I will say is this tool is a bit of a like I said, it's one that you have to apply some thought to, right? And what, you know, my clients have liked about it, or people I've walked through with it, is they do like that journey. They do like the A plus B equals C aspect of it, because the light bulbs go off a little bit more. And quite honestly, we're all human. Sometimes we just need an excuse to justify the voice we're hearing. And if this is what provides that excuse of that documented, like, yes, all four circles align, go for it, you have permission, that works too.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Wonderful question. I am going to, like I said, I'm going to speed things up a little bit, because I do want to address the leadership component of the discussion as well. Like I said before, 3 small steps to really keep in mind when walking through the Ikigai. Start small. This is not a, you know, don't look at it, I'm changing my life and I need to change it now. No, circle by circle, start small, explore. If it's overwhelming, put it away. Come back to it the next day, okay? Be open and honest. Cannot stress how important this one is. Without the open and honesty, like I said, you're more or less probably doing someone else's Ikigai exercise, okay? Ensure it's sustainable, because it's one thing, like I said, to come up with something, but if it's really not gonna be something that you can continue forward with from a sustainable fashion, it may lead to some disappointment. Even though I'm a firm believer that, you know what, if you really believe in something, I'm sure you'll find the ways around it. Some avenues are just a little harder than others, okay? My personal Ikigai, I'm gonna jump over right now. If we have some time afterwards, great, in terms of my little story here, but I do wanna get into Ikigai and leadership, because this is our focus for this evening. So after I asked myself the question of, you know, what was my Ikigai, and I actually applied it and I saw great results from it. I saw the satisfaction, the self-satisfaction that came from it. I tapped into the other side of my personality, that's like very business-minded, professional leader that likes to produce results and loves, you know, work issues and working with teams. And I asked myself, well, if this thing works so powerfully in my personal life, there has to be a connect here, right? So I, just to walk you through my thought process, you know, at work, if you really think about it, and I'm sure, you know, anyone who has ever had a job in the corporate world will agree that there's always a notion of vision and strategy at work. There's always a notion of processes and systems, or things that, you know, that bring about competency in terms of how to do a job. There is always a notion of employees and customers, the world outside the business, right? And there's always, let's face it, you got to keep your eye on the money, right? No business can be complete without actually looking at these 4 elements. And then more and more I looked at these things, I realized there is a direct correlation to the Ikigai pillars and the Ikigai elements. The passion component, what do you love? Well, I'm sure you guys have all been involved in an organization where you heard a vision and strategy that was so compelling that you fell in love with it and said, yes, this is what we're about. This is what we're going to be doing, right? The proficiency aspect, what are you good at? Well, what is the team good at? The processes and systems, the management framework. The external need, what the world needs. Well, that translates very easily into what does the team need, right? And lastly, financial sustainability. What can you be paid for? The dollars and cents as a leader. Do you keep your eye on the money, right? Now, all of these things were things, challenges that I was working with my managers that I was coaching and developing, always came back to these same notions. And what I realized is we can actually formalize this. And, if we were to look at an actual coaching pyramid, and this is something I apply on the business coaching side with my clients, there's actually different levels of where the Ikigai could bring itself in to the corporate world. It could bring itself in as from the individual perspective. And so an individual employee and getting them to think about their Ikigai and bring a little bit more of that into work. Ikigai for leadership, the team, like I was mentioning before, and the entire business itself can also go through an Ikigai exercise of defining, what does the business, what does it love to do? What is it meant to do? And the external components would be more customer based. But these are all the different levels of how it could be applied. All right. If anyone is interested at all, check out my website. You'll see all the different levels in more detail. I really do want to focus on the Ikigai for leadership aspect for this evening. The goal really is fueling your team with a sense of purpose. So now we get outside of ourselves and providing the team with a reason for being, much like a personal Ikigai. Now that sounds like it could be a big challenge sometimes based on organizational needs and where organizations are headed. But I will tell you that a leader that is able to provide their team with a strong sense of purpose and reason for being within the organization hits on a lot of that win-win-win-win-win stuff that I was talking about earlier. So, Ikigai for leadership, the model obviously, is very similar. Instead of what do you love for the personal Ikigai, that translates into how clearly you define vision for your team. It's the passion component. What you're good at from the personal Ikigai translates as a leader as how do you get the team to be good at what they do, or a management framework. What the world needs from the personal Ikigai directly translated into, well, what does your team need? And how do you identify those aspects? And lastly, the financial perspective is how do you as a leader create financial value for your team within the organization? Okay, and the beauty about this, when I formalize this and I realize in its simplicity, these are things that leaders and managers are struggling to do day in and day out anyways. Okay, it's not just because we're looking at Ikigai for leadership and I'm here telling you that, hey, great leaders know how to define vision. Great leaders know how to put a management framework in place to ensure that their teams are effective. No, all of these things exist regardless. What's nice about the model here is, again, bringing it back to the core of the Ikigai and having a sense of purpose from it. If you're able to hit win-win-win-win as a leader, and your team really believes in the vision, and then you start to display proficiencies to get there, understand what they continually need to get there and feed that back to them, and keep an eye on the money so that you can justify that whatever you're doing for your team is actually for the financial health of the organization as well. These are very powerful components if you, as a leader, you're able to accomplish all four, and that sense of purpose will be felt by your team. All right, so some examples here of what elements are we talking about that can be put in play for those leadership components. Well, how clearly you define vision, structured communication, how you storytell, how you're able to reinforce that vision day in, day out, month in, month out. How you use a management framework, more or less, how do you keep track of what has to be accomplished and how do you follow up with all that? Schedule training for your teams to get them proficient. How do you identify what your team needs so that you can take that as feedback and provide it back to your team? Walk the floor, keep your ear to the ground, informal chit chats with team members to actually be close to the ground in terms of what is happening. One-on-ones, department meetings to formalize that. And how do you create financial value? Budget reviews with the team. Treat your team like a business in itself with its own P&L. Or, as an entrepreneur, like, would you be spending money if it was your own money? Are you having conversations about generating more revenue from your team? All that put together, you definitely will be having your cake and eating it too. Like I tell all managers and leaders that I coach, if they're able to achieve all four circles. All right. Why is this so powerful, guys? Again, and like I mentioned to you before, I love it when we're able to bridge the gaps between professional and personal and human values, right? This is powerful because at the end of the day, we're all still human. Your manager at work is still human. The CEO is still human. The chief operating officer is human. The vice president is human, right? And if we're able to connect with a sense of purpose, not only for ourselves and our own lives, but actually be able to combine those two and bring that into the team that we're leading and have them feel that same sense of purpose and drive daily, we hit on a very, very powerful combination, right? It's leading authentically, and it's being able to provide the team with a true sense of purpose that comes from the individual that is leading them through their challenges. Okay, and I think man, I'm right on time here. I must get green. Do I get something for for staying within boundaries?
You do, actually.
Some final thoughts here, okay? And I think this wraps up this conversation of purpose very nicely here. If you were to reverse engineer your life and on your deathbed, what would you regret, if anything? I love asking myself this question. I ask it week in, week out. This is not you ask it once and you forget about it. I ask it often because it's an alignment tool. And I will simply offer that the possible reason for being, or Ikigai to begin with, is to spend each moment of your life ensuring that you will not have those regrets. And that in itself is a very, very, very acceptable Ikigai. So thank you very much, everyone. It was great, great, great questions. Love the vibe. If we have time for some more, I'd love to get into it with a little bit more discussion. And thanks for all the virtual hand clapping.
All right. Thank you, Norm, for this great presentation. I think everyone is now wants to learn even more about Ikigai, and I find it crazy that it's true that being honest and just being authentic is something so important, and it should come easier than it is, but it is actually something very a lot harder than we think. So thanks for sharing this great tool with us. I just wanted to see here if we had any questions. I always invite whoever wants to speak up to ask them directly to the speaker. But while you're getting your questions ready, just wanted to thank you again, Norm. And again, we're going to be sharing with you the website that he mentioned. So his website. And again, if you have any other exercises, I'm sure you must be sharing a lot of great tips related to Ikigai. So yeah, thank you for this. So I did receive a question at the beginning, and it was someone asking, so what was your biggest challenge when starting your business? So you mentioned you just started recently. I guess must be a few challenges along the way.
Yeah, my biggest challenge, getting out of my own way. That was my biggest challenge. I think we have so many preconceptions of who we are, what we're supposed to do, what does success really mean? What is the image of success? Is it really more your own, or is it more of an external one? Dealing with all that, and again, like that takes honesty to really boil down to, like, you know, I don't have a single client. I've built up my website. I poured in this energy. I've poured in all this energy into getting certified, like all that. I don't have a single client, you know? What am I willing to shed right now? What pride am I willing to shed to be able to build my business and get to that next level? That's probably the toughest part. You know, I have this fantastic analogy I was talking about with my girlfriend a couple of weeks ago. And we were just talking about, like, you know, it's just been 8 months and it's been so, what a ride, and it's been so challenging. But, you know, I really look at, you know, an entrepreneur, someone that really puts what they believe in on the line and say, you know what, I'm all in. Those types of individuals are the people I love working with the most on the business coaching side, by the way, because, you know, I get them, you know, and what I love about those characters is, you know, I equate them to people that have been, like, in the forest, hungry, cold, you know, that have, like, slept in the cave, that have uprooted, you know, mushrooms out of the ground and have to really, like, scrounge around to survive. Like, you actually do go through that. It's just a part of what it is. And I'm not talking about if you're involved with a venture capitalist or you're getting, you know, funded, completely different story. I'm talking about individuals that decide to, you know, go out on their own and self-finance themselves. That's what it feels like, and that's what the challenge is. But you know what? What I will say is that mushroom tastes that much good when you do eat it.
And I feel it's also where we learn the most. So excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent answer. And we have here a hand up from Itar. If you want to jump in.
Yeah. Thank you, Nayo. Hi again. So my question is that first you said that Ikigai is the reason for being, which means it gives you a purpose in life. How do you find the purpose? I mean, for example.
Well, yeah. Now, again, great question, and it's such a like it sounds like such an easy question, right?
Yeah.
How do I find purpose? 5 words, like pretty straightforward, right? But, you know, here's the thing. It's always evolving. Your sense of purpose will constantly evolve based on your experiences, based on what you're going through, based on your perspective on life, based on challenges you've surpassed or challenges you continue to face. All that plays into, you know, it's almost like those are all the variables in an equation, and like purpose comes out of it. So, you know, I understand that the question, again, is a 5-word question that should be easy to answer, but can feel tough sometimes. And I don't want to circle around your question. I want to give you a direct answer of, like, how do you find purpose, right? The best answer I can give is you got to look inwards. You got to look inwards. And I don't mean that in a selfish way, by the way. This is not, you know, what do I want to do? What do I need to do? And I don't care about anyone else. That's not it. By looking inwards and really listening to that voice, and if I can offer a question to ask, perhaps, is as I look inwards and I ask myself these questions, what can I do to help the world a little bit more? Definitely that combination you can't fail with. Like, it'll bring you down a good path to start holding on. You know, it sounds so cliche, but I can tell you, you know, when we start to think outside of ourselves, like going in first to be able to listen to ourselves first, but then actually are able to start thinking outside of ourselves and what we can actually provide that's greater than us, there is purpose. Undeniably.
I can see from the noddings that people agree.
Thank you.
Thank you, Itar. We have another hand up here. Nada, if you want to go on next.
Hi, thank you so much for your presentation. I have a quick question. How do you filter what you truly love to do from what you think you love to do? Do you have any tips
Good question.
on that?
Good question. Like I said, it's part of that going inwards journey, right? Your initial reaction to that question, like I said, we are all products of programming, right? If you have been doing something for the last 20 years and the world has been telling you, oh, you're so good at it, or you know what, you have the skill for it, the program can easily translate into, well, this is what I love to do then. You know, like, this is what I do, right? Breaking that program with a series of honest questions, right? And I know I'm going back to what I said before, but a simple question of, you know, is this really what I love? If I did this every single day of my life, you know, for the rest of my time without even getting paid a penny for it, but I still love this? What is it about this that I love? You know, a question I ask sometimes my clients when I ask, well, okay, well, what is it about this that you love? And the answers become, well, you know, it makes me feel important. It makes me feel good that, you know, people recognize that. Usually those are signs that it's not something that they actually love. Because it's coming through feeding off of a sense of accomplishments that's coming from external, right? But there is no simple answer to it. It's really about having that quiet, honest conversation. And to go back to something that Itar, I think, have brought up before, yoga, meditation, mindfulness, going up north, taking a walk in nature, you know, spending an hour just in front of the fireplace with you know, a cup of tea or coffee or whatever you like, and staring at the fire and thinking about it. Like, these are all great ways to tap into that voice a little bit more. Because you know what? It's not, and I talked about what you could do. Let me talk a little bit about, in my experience, what you shouldn't do. No social media, okay? No going online and Googling it and seeing how popular it is. No listening to friends, family, even more, and asking for their opinion. That stuff is going to get you further and further away. Right?
Thank you. I see we have
I
another.
hope I answered, yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to follow up. I see Dennis has his hand up, and I just want to say thank you everyone for contributing to the conversation with your great questions. And I love the fact that now people want to love what they do and they want to have purpose in their life. And one quick advice as the career advisor side, just go and try. You'll know, and really you can always wait a lot of time, and at the end, yeah, trying is often the easiest way to go. We have Bea who had a question, and Dennis, but I think it's a comment/question. So I'm just going to read it here. So what, and after that, it's you, Dennis. So what about doing a survey with your friends and asking them what they think you are really good at?
That, like I mentioned before, great question as well. When it comes to identifying, you know, what you're good at, I'm okay with that. I think that's great, because sometimes you do need to hear that other perspective. And just to clarify what I meant before, don't start asking your friends what you love doing. That's what I meant, because that's not their business. That's not for them to answer. That's more for you to answer. But what are you good at? Absolutely. That's a great place to ask, because sometimes we don't even see it, right? We just do it. You know, we just do things, and we, you know, for us, it's easy. And, you know, we don't even look at it like I'm really good at it. You need that external voice when it comes to like that component of what you're good at. That's a great way of like zeroing in on it, is getting that external perspective.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, totally agree. And I see Dennis here ready to jump in.
Hey, Dennis.
Great. Thank you, Norm, for your presentation. I just want to ask you a very deep question. One day, and that day will ever come, you're no longer here in this planet. What would you like to be remembered for?
Yes, very similar to the deathbed question, the legacy question. I've thought that one through, and I actually wrote down about a year and a half ago. I recommend this exercise to anyone. I wrote my own eulogy. I actually wrote down the words that I would want spoken honestly at my own funeral. And I bawled my eyes out when I got through it, because it made me realize in one moment of clarity, man, I'm not doing what I want to be doing. And after I bawled my eyes out, a big smile came over my face, because I realized, well, at least now I know, and I'm going to do something about it. So to specifically ask yourself that question, answer the question of what would I want to be known for? There's obviously a massive amount of family items, partner items to, a special someone in my life that I'm not going to share here because that's personal, but aspects of impact to world and being able to help others, I think I've stayed very true to since that day. And really, that's all I can ask for. If I'm able to impact one life, one individual, help them along one challenge that perhaps they felt stuck with, that's why I decided to take this as a profession now. I pinch myself sometimes because day by day I do work with people and I see the looks on their face, and what I love about my job is I call it the breakthrough moment. This is what I do. I love that moment when I'm talking to someone on the other screen, and through the coaching, they got to the place where they realized, holy shit, I can do this. Man, if I could capture that moment, like that's my drug. I love that. And I'm being very selfish now. I love that, selfishly speaking. But I've come to terms with realizing that it's okay because I'm actually helping someone else at the same time. So again, that win-win situation, I'm all for that. So a bit of a long-winded answer, Dennis, my apologies, but really comes down to helping others. That is what I would really like to be remembered for.
Thank you. Very thought-provoking question, Dennis, and super well answered.
Yeah, very nice question. Love those.
I can't believe you did your own eulogy. That's actually pretty amazing. I don't know exactly.
I recommend it. I recommend it for anyone that wants to be maybe a little uncomfortable, but can get big results from. Definitely go through the process, because it really, really clarifies with no bullshit involved what is actually important to you, and highlights in the same process what you're wasting your time doing right now.
Yeah. Wow. So very strange, but I'll actually try doing my own eulogy at some point. I think it can be funny. Maybe do it with a friend so it doesn't get too deep. And
what I will say on the topic, because self-development can be such a long road sometimes. It could be such a tough road based on everyone's struggles and what they're going through, and everyone has a story and everyone has personal struggles and a journey. But what's nice about something like that, I just want to share with everyone, is by writing that out, you actually get to go back to that document and put little check marks on it from time to time and say, you know what? I'm closer. I did the work. I'm that much closer. And I'm authentically lined up to who I am. you know? So that's rewarding. And sometimes it does take, you know, let's face it, we do need a little reward and a little bit of a tap on the back to keep going down that tough road sometimes. And I just want to share with everyone, like, you know, it's an amazing tool to self-feed yourself that sense of accomplishment as well.
I couldn't agree more with what you just said. Like, wow, so very interesting. I know we started with Ikigai and now we're going into a little other direction.
Oh, we're having fun. We're having fun, right? Like Reem said, we gotta have fun tonight.
Yeah, no, exactly. Love that. And I see a lot of people also find that amazing, powerful, receiving a lot of great comments here. And I know we already exceeded the question time. So thanks again, everyone, for just engaging. And hopefully maybe at the end, we can still have a little bit of time with Norm. But look, I'll jump right in and let Reem take over as we are going to be jumping into the other part of this session. And thanks again, Norm. Like, well, we should do this again, and I can't wait to maybe follow and learn more from you. So
my pleasure, everyone. Thank you so much. Yeah.
A lot of like clapping. Okay. Great presentation, and yeah. Fantastic.
Definitely do this again. Thank you very much, Neo, for taking over on that part. And thank you very much, Norm. I'm thinking to myself right now, what are people going to think about me the moment that I die? But then I started thinking to myself, what do I think about me? Now, what would others think about me? And kind of got me in that reflective mode. So thank you very much for that. And really appreciate the time that you took to prepare tonight. I got in such a reflective mode that for a second, I want to take all of your opinions tonight, but I'm thinking, let's stay here today. I want to spice things up and change them a bit. So instead of all going to separate breakout rooms, since we're all into that vibe right now of engaging together, I would suggest that we would stay in the room right now. We would stay all together here. And instead of doing the regular mastermind that we usually do, where we would ask maybe a question and we go around and have a topic to discuss, how about we all start to think about what Norm was talking today? And I would love for each and every one of you to take a second and think to yourself, because we're going to go round table and each one is going to get the chance to speak up. Have you found your Ikigai? It's a yes or no question. I know in coaching, we don't ask that, but if you found your Ikigai, we would love to hear your story because that would be so powerful. If not, what is stopping you today? So just take a second and really think to yourself, what is stopping you from finding that Ikigai? And don't go for the first reason that pops into your mind. Take a second and really dig into it. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to do just a simple round table. Whoever feels comfortable to open their camera, please do. Whoever feels comfortable to go first, please do raise your hand or share. Oh, Bea, I see someone interested already. No, you don't want? Okay.
No, I put a thing in the chat. I have to leave. I apologize, but I got family. So thank you. But great topic. Thank you, Norm. Really good. Sorry.
Thank you so much. My
pleasure.
pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. I was just waving goodbye.
We're waving goodbye to you as well. So I'm going to take a second and